blastmusic247.com. We're changing the industry one artist at a time.
She said, listen closely with your soul and keep your eyes closed so I can take off all these heavy, piss-soaked mental clothes without feeling embarrassed, okay? Said I do one better, stood up and turned my chair the opposite way. I don't get naked in front of no one, came the mutter. Never mind the mirror and any need to read lips, could tell she needed this moment to herself. I was only there to help. She exposed her ashy shoulders, tatted breasts, mangled teeth as I gripped the bottom of my chair more tightly, watching as she lifted matted, greasy, brown fake hairs from red and raw pus seeping wounds rendered from lovers and families past. The rotten marring from in-flesh premature womb deaths that lasted more years summoned her life. Quietly inside, I cried out, Christ, so soon, careful not to grasp or burst into tears. It wasn't my pain, after all, to heal. I was only there to hear. My job was clear. Simply listen innocuously, like the faded pink striped paper walls, some in her bedroom, some in her halls. Lived her life in patterns, cyclically. I held my breath when her heart stalled out. Watched all her secrets sprawl, they sucked in light till only darkness held. I clasped my hand over my mouth firmly, compassion pouring out from every pore of me. I held my peace. I hadn't smelled a soul death like hers in years, a crippled personality. Her purple nipples reeked of fear, hanging on by commanded skin threads. Oogled the oozing aloe like dripping spilled down her ribs. I sat wide-eyed as her tattoos melted. Made my head hurt. It's a hard word to let someone who's died from the inside hurt. My back was turned and it was safe to cry. How many words would it take to bind up her fictional bleeding, her reimagined rejection left repeating? Repeating like the song she hummed then sang along. Wasn't familiar to me, but mercy how well it fit. This is for the brokenhearted. This is for the lost at sea. This is for the broken-hearted, holding hope for victory, but where would she find it? With the shape she was pinned to, faith looked like a failure, but I couldn't tell her any different. Glued to the seat, I summoned indifference to pinch it. Billed and paid for it, but calluses never grew to protect the hero in me, my ears, heart, and soul. I continued bearing her melancholy beauty, torn melody as she continued to undress mentally. Dear God of a broken, shattered sight, clothed with me remembering I was not supposed to see. Lowered my eyes from the mirror to stare at my shoes. I'm just the listener. There is nothing for me to do. Solely witness, confined to my guilt-ridden inner pleas, she stood naked of pride and flesh. A vulnerable spectacle, almost mosaic kintsugi, but not quite. Watched the light of her life's blood drip from her eyes, saw her spirit seeking fights of denial, had a thought maybe I should interject, but realized she wasn't done yet. Unpacking all the layers of charred skin. Was crystallized clear the pain she existed in daily, surrounded by friends who would never know any different. A mother of multiple children, man and soul, mysteriously, she carried bales of unknown holdings, all the knowings of those in her surroundings, visible to all, but her essence unseen. Like green screens or inverted lenses, the weight of her being overwhelmed me. Checked the timer as the clock clicked out. It's grief. Hi. How are you? I'm Malika K. Courtney, intuitive personal coach and consultant. I'm going to be your host for about the next hour ish, and this conversations matter. So thank you for joining me because conversations that matter. That's step one, right? And then also allow me to love you back to life. Like that's huge to me. I appreciate you lending me your ear and your time. So what I want to do is just start out by saying thank you. Thank you to Blast Radio and all the beautiful people that are on board. Family. Thank you, Sunshine Cromwell of Shine Vibrations. You guys, if you have not checked out Shine Vibrations, what you waiting on? And she's also on Blast Radio TV. Thank you to VP Troy, who's handling the back end of life, and it matters to me. So gratitude is always where we're gonna start, y'all. Gratitude. I appreciate you all tuning in. So, y'all, I had a weekend, and it kind of it gangstered what I want to talk about today. So we about to talk about that. And with this lens, because hey, thank you. I love that you love the hoodie. This is Honey Drippers. I believe in love, y'all. If I am asked, like, who are you? That is literally one of the first things that you're going to hear come out of my mouth. I am the embodiment of love. I believe in being love and sharing love and emitting love because in my mind, and that matters too, right? In my mind, that makes the world a safer and better place to be in, not just for me, but for everybody else that's in here too. So with that, let's talk about love. And for those who come in from a Christian lens, love is patient, love is kind, and you know the whole rest of that scripture that kind of just points to loving yourself and loving those who are around you, including strangers, and loving as you love yourself. And I think that is kind of the key point that I want to harp on a little bit. So let's do story time. Story time. I was downtown Arizona, and I hadn't been there for maybe 7 minutes. So my peoples, we decided to cross the street. And you know, I'm in a lively mood. I'm tired a little bit because it's late. It's past grown people bedtime, but I'm trying to be outside, right? And be with the people. We cross the street, it's 3 of us. And the first thing I see, because I see a commotion, but you know, it's a Saturday night. I'm thinking like, you know, ain't no thing. It's just Saturday night. Only when I focus in, I realize that I'm watching somebody being drug off the sidewalk by their foot. And I'm like, what the hell am I seeing? Like, I'm not seeing what I'm seeing. You know, I don't know if you ever had that moment where you just really got to look again. So I'm having a conversation, but the conversation ended because I recognized, I'm like, I see skin. So this man, young man, black man, is being drug off the sidewalk. So of course I gotta look. Then I realize it's a horse. Click, police. Sure enough, it's the police. They yoke him off the sidewalk to the tune of boom, boom, with his head off the sidewalk to the street. And there's a swarm. It's like about 5 of them that I can readily see, and you can feel the swarm coming in. There's more bees heading that way, right? The first thing out my mouth wasn't nowhere near what God would say. Well, no love in the building. It was love from the other way. It was love for that young man that I saw being mishandled. I don't know what he did, y'all. This man, he didn't come across to me like he was inebriated at all. I don't know what happened, and maybe something did happen. And I do believe in policing, so don't even misunderstand this. Former background in law enforcement, so do understand I believe in policing, but I believe in policing properly. The crap that I saw, and I'm trying to use clean words, but I'm gonna already tell you out the gate, it's about to be some cuss words, so this is a little bit something I'm passionate about. I was pissed, and the first thing I said to them was, get the F word off of him. Why did I feel the need to come that hard and say something so wild business to that group of police officers? Well, I'm glad you asked. The female had her knee, she had him pinned down from the corner side. On the other side, the male officer had his knee and the shoulder blade of this dude, like, I mean, grinding him into the ground. The other one is like yoking him, and I'm watching, and this is still occurring. Like, this man is secure. He has been secured. Why is it taking all of that? Like, why are we still securing him when he's already secured? Because they could. Okay. Dude was bloody. He was dressed nicely. And they were messing that all the way up with that street and that curb, y'all. And then past that, you know I stopped. If you know me, you know I stopped. And stood there for a minute and said a few more explicatives and ranted to them about their job and the things that I was sharing with things like, first of all, it don't take all this. And it does not take that many officers to secure that man. He was about maybe 5'6" because he was down when I seen him, but maybe 150 something pounds. He was not heavy work. He was lightweight work. And they were handling him like an animal. And let me add an extra image for you. Y'all, they had a cord of some sort. And they literally hog-tied that black man in the freaking street. In the street, y'all. His feet were so hiked up to the back of him. It was wild, like wrapped his arms, like corded his arms and his feet and just kept rapping. And I am literally screaming at these people. He is not an animal. He is not an animal. That is a human. How can you not see his humanity? How did you lose your humanity? And I said a few other things that I won't repeat here, but I felt they were very warranted. And also mentioned Mr. Floyd. We know what happened. So why is it that same behavior is still happening? Like, why is it that we lose sight of love in the line of our duties? How do we lose sight of love in the line of our families, in the line of our anything, any place where you find yourself losing love, right? Because I can tell on myself first, which I already did. I definitely didn't have not a flick of love feeling in my heart for those officers. I could not even see them as human. I was just like, you guys are beasts to handle someone so beastly. Like, there were no hearts beating except for that young man that was on the ground. That's kind of how it felt. Like, these are not humans. And I can't say that that's right. I'm not saying that that's right? I am saying that it was disgusting to witness. It was disgusting to witness. And to know that I'm probably one of how many millions of people who has gotten to witness such sickness firsthand. Now, what I can say is I was walking up on them, y'all. I just don't know what possessed me. I just was walking right toward them because I was not having it. He was not about to die on my sight. And one of the lovely people that I was with grabbed my behind from the behind, like, yo, get over here. I'm like, listen, I'm not going to stand here and watch this happen. And when I was saying the nice things to the nice officers, he got off his back. And I started that piece, Mosaic Kintsugi is the name of that piece that I share with you guys. I am a poet, Lady Molotov, to be clear. And I started with that piece because I thought it so apropos, like it completely fit with how we have so many layers of charred skin, like the young lady in the piece who wanted everyone to turn their back and not see her undress mentally. And I think that it's possible, okay, I'm going to say it's possible that we have not provided a place for officers to undress mentally. I'm going to say that's possible, that maybe they don't have a safe place to go and work out their inner ignorances and inner hates, so they don't take it into their job description and inflict it on the public, okay? And in the same sense, I don't know what dude did. I don't know. It very well may have warranted arresting. So I'm not saying don't arrest that cat. Not saying that. But what I am saying is, I wonder what it would have looked like if they had a semblance of respect for who he was as a man. And then I'm also hoping on the flip side of that he has somewhere that he can go unpack his inner mysteries now, because he's been given fresh trauma. And I can say that maybe that's your story. You're listening, and maybe that's your story. Maybe it's not as severe as being dragged off the sidewalk by a handful of officers and mishandled and tortured and tied up like an animal. So maybe your trauma is hitting you as strongly emotionally, though. It's possible, right? And it's possible that you have not found your place to unpack that mental insecurity, okay? The shame or the guilt that comes along with it. Or maybe you're one of those who cannot take off your black, right? Because we cannot take off our black. We wake up in this beautiful skin every day and are handled a certain way because of it, right? So I really did have a heart. Hey, Paul Cram. Hey, Scott. Hey, Sunshine. Hey, Nightbot. Giggles. But I did want to open that up for you. Like, open up the conversation in your mind, because I believe in awareness. I really do. Not only awareness, but action. What do you do when you find yourself in that position of trauma, right? When you are afraid, and maybe finally you get brave enough to go and have a conversation with someone, and maybe you just want to give them a little bit just to let the air out and ease your heart some, right? How do you get to that point? How do you get to that point? Well, I'm going to offer you a little bit of help there. So you can put that red pinpoint, boom, let's stick the pin in right there. I would offer you this to begin with. Despite all of the things that we see and encounter that appear negative and disgusting and filthy and vile, do you understand that the world is an amazing place? This is a beautiful world. It is packed with incredible people who love, and care. And I do mean folks that you ain't never even seen before, never, not once, who will sit with you and listen. Like in the piece, all I was is the listener. It was not my job to heal it, fix it, or correct it. Sometimes you just need somebody to listen. And I encourage you to start with the belief, and this is truly a tip and a tool. Start with the belief. Gotta challenge that belief inside of you that says nobody cares, because it's a lie. It's a lie. Somebody cares. Somebody cares, and I dare say somebody near you cares. Okay? So be brave enough to challenge that lie on the inside of you that says nobody cares, because it's not true, and find that listener who does care. Now, be wise about your listener. Please do not make the mistake of going to see Miss Betty Lou Jean, who's going to go to church and tell all your business to her friends. Do not make that mistake. It's not what I'm saying. Be wise in your choosing of a listener, okay? But there is someone who can let you get that steam and that weight off your chest. And no, they are not a dumping ground, so don't misunderstand it that way. I suggest you find someone who is spiritual, who knows how to pray, and who knows how to clean spiritually. That is a great person to have in your life and to keep in your circle and to love on, excuse me, and to hold on tightly too. So I do encourage you, be proactive. Do not let it wait, because it can't wait. Like, honest to God, it can't wait. How long can you wait to breathe? And what we sometimes fail to understand, and we're going to talk about that a little bit later in our time together, we fail to understand the weight that things carry in us. I mentioned before, possibly business begins in the body for my entrepreneurs, right? And then there's also the business of being home for my homemakers. You are running a business, the business of your home. You are the freaking CEO of that jag. So understanding the weight that each and every task, phone call, text message, client carries is important. And then we're going to talk about the gifts later. Wait till we get to that point. Hold that thought. I got to back myself back up, because it's like, oh, it's such a bursting thought for me. Okay, back to the listener. Once you have chosen your listener and you've gotten brave and you shit a little bit, you got a little team right there, you and that other person, y'all team. There's some prayer going on. There's some conversation going on. Consider a professional listener. If you are dealing with trauma that your listening friend is not qualified to help you work through, be brave and go get you some help. Some 800 help. Like, for real. Call a grown-up. Call a grown-up and be brave enough to have those conversations in a professional setting that's going to really give you some tools to help you undo those knots. Those things are spiritual knots. That's why they call them blocks. The blood cannot flow through. You're not. Got to untie those knots. And then you look at life and be like, okay, why am I working so hard and I can't get further? Or Okay, I did all of this that they said do and it still didn't work. Okay. Or emotionally, I met amazing people. I met someone that I really want to love, but we can't stand each other right quick. That's why, because you have knots that need to be untied. And it is a spiritual work and it is a physical work. So maybe let's talk to the person who maybe would say to me, I don't have nobody. I don't have nobody. I don't talk to nobody. I'm an introvert. I be in the house. There is nobody. I will say to you, you have you and you have God above. That's sovereign. So I would say to you, get your pen and your paper, not your computer, not your phone. It don't work that way. Get you some pen and some paper and begin to write. Begin to write that stuff about you. And while you are writing, guess what you're doing? Forgiving. You're forgiving and taking ownership. You're forgiving and taking ownership. It's like a needle and thread. That's the needle and the thread. You're forgiving and you're taking ownership, right? And you're working that cloth. You're working that cloth of yourself. Working to heal that. And even for those who do have a listener, you are working to heal that. Same exercise I offer you. Use it. Use it. There are some who go as far as to say, burn it after you've written it. That's an option, but I would prefer you sit with it and make sure you fully have it out of you and a full understanding. Now, why do I want you to own it? For what? Why do I want to take ownership for something somebody else did? I'm not responsible for that trash. I'm not responsible for being beaten or raped or kicked or mishandled or all those things that come with that. Not my responsibility. I prefer blame. And I understand that that's true for some people. They prefer blame, but I will offer you this. What power does a victim have? Okay. The power to cry out. Power to bleed a bit. Power to speak. But when you own a thing, baby, when you own a thing, you can do way, way more with it. You can tell it where it's about to be. You can tell it the weight that it gets to carry. You can tell it how it's going to impact you further going forward. You can tell it the story that it's going to be now. That's the power of ownership. So I encourage you, get serious about it. Like, get serious about you. And when it comes to that whole police thing, y'all, for those who are willing and brave, I'm going to challenge you to have a polite conversation with the police department in Arizona and where you are, and really call them to task on how they treat the community. Call them to task. Nothing changes it unless we create something new, right? Nothing changes unless we create something new. So I challenge you to do that. And hopefully that's not asking too much. I don't think it is, especially if you are wearing a brown skin. I don't think it's too much to ask. I think it's imperative to ask, so I'm asking. Okay, great. So on that note, we're about 23 minutes in. I want to pause for commercial and then a few things that we need to tend to. So be back in a minute.
Well, good evening, everyone. Bring my mic over here. Excuse me. Good evening, everyone. I'm loving the topic so far. So tonight's Blast Artist Spotlight is one of Blast's favorite. This is my guy. His name is Daniel McGinnis, and this is called When the Lights Go Down. Let's check it out.
So you're falling again, but your soul is harder to bend, and your eyes are swollen, and your head feels broken, and the war never ends. It's true, the time heals the pain, but the scars will always remain. Close your eyes, I'll be there. Run my hands through your hair, and the noise will fade in the gray. So save me from myself and take me somewhere else. Say you'll be here now when the lights go down again. I tried to be where you are. I don't know if I'll make it that far, but I'll hold out my hand in this sinking quicksand. 'Cause you know I'm here till the end. So save me from myself and take me somewhere else. Say you'll be here now when the lights go down again. Feels like I'm spiraling, but I know you'll get me through. My body is idling, but somehow I'll make it to you. Yeah, somehow I'll make it to you. So save me from myself and take me somewhere else. Say you'll be here now when the lights go down. Save me from this hell, 'cause I'm just not myself. Say you'll be here now when the lights go down again.
There we go.
Yes, indeed.
Somebody I know
That
was
was-
the words.
Hey, that's my boy, man. Representing the UK, Daniel McGuinness. And if you are an independent artist or a spoken word poet or even an up and coming comedian that is looking for some exposure, you can go to blastmusic247.com and register for free. But Blast is also looking for the fans. So if you are fans of great music, just like we heard from my man Daniel, you can have access to hundreds and hundreds of independent music by going to blastmusic247.com, register as the unlimited fan, and the access is yours. Blast, we are constantly changing the industry, one artist at a time. All right, Malikia, back to you.
Thank you, sir. I appreciate you. And ooh, I love that song. That was real smooth and definitely fit. So I see you doing amazing things. You know what? Do me a favor. So while we're doing this, let's go ahead and handle all the business. If you put up that flyer for Sanctuary Experience for the men, the Lion's Heart, let the humans see that. Okay, you guys. Atlanta, May 17 through 19, I am prepared to do what we do for the women, and that is love on the men. They need it. The incident that happened earlier, I wish I had gotten that young man's contact, because he really needs to be able to come into a space like that and have someone really sit and hear him and pray with him and love on him and tool him up on how to transition and transmute that foul experience, the energy of it, into something beautiful that's going to impact and heal in him and heal the folks around him. So that's what we're prepared to do with that. Tap in with me. If you're a man, you know you need it. Please don't waste time. I don't waste many words. I don't have time like that. I don't want to. So I'll say it flat out. Register now. Time is short. That early bird is about to be out the window. The price is $1,200. It will be $2,500 soon. That's what it costs. So take advantage of the early bird. Get your tickets now, and meet me in Atlanta, May 17 through 19. Would you pop that next flight up for me, Beep? And that one is just another cute one for you guys. You see what it is? 17th through 19th. That's your reminder. The next one for the women. Okay, we're going to take a womenly journey because we haven't forgot the women. I serve you guys twice a year in Florida. That's women's 3-day event. 3 days. 3 days of love, and beauty and hands-on experiences that will leave your life ready to create. Okay, ready to create and live, and some for the very first time. Do not play around with that. Sanctuary experience for the women. The fall is going to be September 20th. Check in with me. September 20th to 22nd. I'm almost sure that's the dates, but let's verify it. And go to thereboundcoach.com, thereboundcoach.com/sanctuary. That's where you'll find the tickets for that. Okay, what's on the screen? The Womenly Journey 4-week workshop. 4 weeks of workshopping for the women with tired hearts. Tap in with me for that. That's about as much as I'm going to share here. Find me if you need more information because I want to get to talking about this. Second half. So like I mentioned earlier, I wanted to get into the weight of things, okay? Y'all, some of us are walking around so heavy because we have dreams that are still in us. Okay, that those dreams are still sitting in us and keeping us company. And what you can do is you can think about it like a spiritual baby. Okay, you can think about it like a spiritual baby. And after a while of growth, what do babies do? They need some room to come out and develop, right? They want to be born. They must be born and delivered of you. Sometimes your kids want to get away from you too. So you have to. Or I won't say you have to. I'm going to say we all have choices, right? We have options. It is best if you go ahead and let that go. If you go ahead and birth that child, and that's more directly to the women, I guess, because the men are not giving birth, but do understand in the spirit. Yes, you do. Yes, you do. Here's a picture. I'm on Blast Radio. I did not create Blast Radio. Somebody else did. A gentleman's. And he created it, but look at what it's doing because he created it and gave it away, shared it with all of us to make use of it and impact the world as we see fit or as God has given us to do. What if he held it? And what if a woman refused to give birth when her time was due? I don't even think our bodies would allow us to pull that magic trick. Right? But think of the women who have to have a cesarean because the body is not cooperating. Consider us an uncooperative body with the dreams that God have packed inside of us. The things that we were supposed to do and create and put forth. But we kept it. To what detriment? To our detriment and the detriment of those who were supposed to come behind us and pick it up too and run it a little farther down the road. Do you understand? And here is the good part. When we talk about gifts, love, this whole conversation has been about love and about gifts. Do you had 3 6 sections? Holy Spirit, come on, pray. 9:20 to 22 is sanctuary experience, by the way. Y'all, do you understand that the weight you are carrying around, sometimes it looks like you're obese. Sometimes it looks like you're overtired. It can also look like you're completely irritated with life and everything around you. Everything around you need to go somewhere, sit down, and shut up. Okay? Because that's the energy that you are in. Sometimes, not every time, but sometimes it is because of the weight you are carrying. And sometimes that weight that you're carrying is the gift that you were supposed to birth. And it is dying dying inside of you, dying to get away from you. It asked you to birth it and you won't. And it did not come here to die. It came here to live and to grow and to thrive and provide. Right? But you denying provision to yourself and others by holding it hostage. Yeah. And I pause for a moment just to let that sink in and have you thinking, what is it that I was supposed to be giving up? What was I supposed to be birthing? What did I commit to and say that I would handle or give or provide? And I just was flat out lying. I ain't do it. I'm still sitting on it right now, right? This is an honest moment. It is an honest moment. Be honest. Okay, so in the same sense that I challenge you to connect with those police departments and have those proper conversations, well, connect with you and have that proper conversation with yourself and ask, is there anything that I am still sitting on? Ooh, let's poke the bear. My people that go, I'm gonna write a book. I'm gonna write a bookers. I'm gonna write that book. I've been gonna write that book for about 20, 30 years, 50, 11 years, and that book still isn't written. But you have so much in you, so many experiences that just somebody reading it could take it and catch wind enough to send their sails higher and make a difference in many other places. Are you selfish like that? For real? And I don't just point fingers. I'm going to point one back. When I wrote The Ladder, How to Escape the Hells of Domestic Violence and Trauma, that book was about 20 years coming. I was among the guilty. I was like, I'm going to write that book. I wrote all kind of stuff in between it, but I never set my behind still to write that book. Not until I was invited to do a cohort, a 45-day write, and I did it. I set my tail down and I refused. That last day came around. I had been doing edits and everything else that I do. And still, I was like, I'm not going to sleep. Last day, I'm doing this very last edit because I'm an editor and I can't just write the book and let it go, right? But I refused to sleep until it was done. And what I found, like literally the moment I went, period, we're done, there was a release in my spirit. I felt like I lost 20 pounds. Add them up. I felt so much lighter. And then what came to mind after, like this was, you come into those moments of understanding, like God, hey, Miss Fran, and hey, Mike McKenzie. What comes to mind is the truth. Like, oh God, what was I doing? What was I sitting on? And then what is the cost of me sitting there saying to myself, I'm gonna do it, and then didn't do it? What did it cost me? It was so heavy. And then how many people didn't even get to benefit, like all the years that I dragged my behind in writing. Now, part of those years was developing and understanding the tools that I used to walk out of that hell myself, right? But I could have started sooner. Sure could have. But I learned that being honest in your commitments, in your promises, when you make promises to yourself, you got to keep them. Keep them, because if you don't, guess what's happening in your spirit? Wait. Don't you want to give you a break? If nobody else in this world gives you a break, don't you want to give yourself a break? I really think you do. And if you don't, I'm going to think it for you. I'm going to think it towards you. You do. Go on and accept that thought. Accept it. Last week, we talked about thoughts, and I'm just going to give a quick review on that. I had so many people hit my phone like, I'm going to try that, and I really want to know how it went for you. When you try to pull out that negative thought and let that bad boy burn, I'm interested in seeing how much lighter and how more clear your mind is. And today I will give you the second half of that thought. Well, after I was removing that stinking thinking, Spirit whispered to me, hey, you can rewrite that, right? I was like, oh, okay. I'm going to rewrite it. So instead of just watching it burn to ash, I pulled that negative thought out. In my mind's eye, I watched it flame up to like a volcanic ashy color, like it was getting there, man. And I rewrote it. And then I let it go and allowed it to be reintroduced to my mind and the thoughts that were in there. And then I just began to sit and think on it and find it in the swirl of my thoughts and repeat it and make it stronger and repeat it and make it stronger out of my mouth, in my mind, right? So that it became as I said it would be, as I said, not what people spoke over, not anything that didn't matter anymore, That's the power of ownership once again. But as I said, so that's a quick segue back, and then we're going to segue back right over here where we were in speaking about the gifts that we hold in us that we refuse to birth, that leave us heavy and overweight and sad and traumatized. You don't have to live that way. At this point, hearing my voice, guess what it is now? If you move from today forward with that same weight, it is because you choose to. Because now you've heard the truth. And if you didn't hear all of the truth, go back and press replay when we're done. And share it with friends too while we're at it, so they can get free too. You are now responsible for this truth. This is that tip. This is that challenge. This is that instruction. And I've given you the method. So you can't sit here and go, well, I don't know what to do. Well, yeah, you do. Implement. Do the work. I'm on the last chapter of The Lion's Heart, which is a Sanctuary Experience edition for the men that I'm writing for their event. And in it, I for real harp on habit forming, because habit is how we live our life, right? So handle your habits when it comes to your gifting. Use your gifts. Use your gifts, please, please. Use them because someone needs them, and you physically need it yourself. You need to see you show up. You need to see you keep your word and promises and be who you said you were gonna freaking be. Kill them excuses. Like, honest to God, I get tired, y'all. I love my clients, so please do not misunderstand me. I love my clients, and I don't have a whole lot of that drama going on with my paying clients, my pro bonos and such like this. All them damn excuses. Please keep that away from me, because it's not gonna fly with me. I don't give a damn about your excuses. It means nothing to me. Bust out in tears if you want to. I really don't have room for that either. How about that? Unless they're genuine, necessary tears, I'll make room. But tears ain't changing nothing, love. Okay? Hey, Urban Gorilla Theater, what's going on? Tears is not going to change it, baby. Okay? You get them tears on out, and I'm going to pat your back and be like, okay. Okay? And then we're going to keep it moving, because we got stuff to do. Almost said the other word. We got things to do, okay? And your gifts and talents need to be birthed. Why abort them in your being? Why? Okay, great. I've heard on that long enough. Let's keep it moving. I thought I would offer just a few thoughts, because some people may be wondering, what's in me? What's in me? Because when we've ignored a thing for so long, at times it can take position in shadow, and maybe you need to hear it spoken to pull it forward. So books, poems, inventions, forgiveness. Ooh, okay, great. Peace, attention, support, sponsorship, gifts, crafts, paintings, jewelry workings, patience with children. Ooh, if you have patience with the adults, you are a gift from the Lord. Patience with teens, coaching, education, activism, law, organization, cheers, bacon, programming. What is in you? And I encourage you, like when you're checking this on replay or even in now, tell me, because this is truly not a one-sided conversation. I want to know. Let me be nosy a little bit. What is in you? What are your gifts? And then I will take it even a step further. Do you know how many people I have helped? Well, y'all don't know. I guess I've only been here for 2 episodes. How about that? But I have helped a large number of people do amazing things, including cross into their 6-figure lives, because we sat down and have a conversation, because they wanted that strategy. And yep, I believe in it. You paying me, especially if we're doing work that's going to bring you funds. But yeah, there have been some people who didn't even have the loot at all. And still, if God whispered to me, help them, guess what I did? For the free.com, so that nobody has an excuse, you can hit me later once you do what God told you to do. And let's clarify God. I do not believe that God exists outside of us. I don't believe that at all. God is dwelling. When you breathe, baby, you are breathing God. You have creation in you. So go on with that. It's an inside job, period. So you need to get to consulting the God in you and drawing out what is in you. And do not make the mistake of complaining. I ain't got no help. I ain't got no friends. Ain't nobody listening. I'm listening. So go on and talk about it. If you need to talk about it in the chat, All right, let's go. Get in the chat. If you want to connect offline, I am literally Malika K. Courtney across the board with the exception of Instagram and Snapchat. Instagram is Santa's Helper, SANTAZHELPR. And then Snapchat, I was being funny that day, it's Cherokee Noir, which is a mixture from another show that I did that we ain't gonna even talk about right now. So, and I don't do much on Snapchat, so I'll get to that when I get to it. But I do encourage you. I'm pretty quick responding to Messenger. That's probably like the fastest. And for those who have my number, or if you know someone that I know, you can ask them for my phone number. That's cool. And they can slide it to you and we can talk one-on-one. Because I believe in helping people. I believe in getting the message out. And I also believe in getting paid. So we don't get confused on that. So I feel like I've kind of given you what I had burning in me. I know that's how I weathered many storms in my life due to God that dwells in me. Period, sunshine. Period. I'm picking up I love having the comments right here. I don't know about y'all. It's so much fun for me. And I was today years old when I realized I could just put the comments here and they would shoot right back. Like you guys can see what I'm writing too. So playtime, because I believe in fun and playtime too. What's the point of life if you're not enjoying it? So I'm gonna give you guys just kind of a recap for those who came in after. We kicked off conversation today with poetry, Mosaic Kintsugi, one of my favorite pieces, where it kind of breaks down how we hide our hurts, our pains, our charred skin, and we bear all these things on our own. We may allow somebody in the room to listen, you know what I mean? But we don't want to be seen. We don't want to get naked. Okay. And I shared also some things that I experienced over the weekend, seeing this beautiful young Black man being drug off the sidewalk and hog-tied, and I am not exaggerating in any fashion, hog-tied with cord, which is disgusting, by a number of officers, too many officers to truly make an arrest, but it was abuse. It was flat out abuse. Okay. And I saw more later on that night too, same officers. So that is their way. And it is clear that is their way of being. And I'm charging everybody, challenging you to go have conversations with your own personal department and then just call accountability to the officers around you. If you are in law enforcement, challenge the BS. Challenge the BS. Don't sit there silent, because you're responsible for it too. And you will be handled collectively and treated collectively if folks don't begin to act individually. How about that? Say it that way. And then we moved on to the conversation of that beautiful song from Daniel McGinnis. You guys check that out when the lights go down. And then forward on to the conversation about gifts and how they are in you and what happens when you do not get them out. Please don't be content to let the baton or the light burn out and fall down with you. Somebody came before you to make a difference. Okay, and it is for us to take our place, you know what I mean, on Pride Rock, so to speak, and for real, make a difference. Okay, I'm gonna slide my notes because I just believe in that. Because I'm a squirrel sometimes, so I take notes so I can stay focused and on topic. Okay, great. So the tips that I shared today was the second half of the mental process of cleaning out your thoughts. The first part of that was like literally sitting with yourself and understanding that a lot of the things, 60,000 thoughts a day, y'all, a lot of the thoughts that keep us company ain't even our thoughts. They didn't come from us. They did not originate in us. They were thought toward us. You've been given the game. I know the thoughts I think toward you. Okay, well, did you think that only positive energy was thinking toward you, or did you think that you have poles like everything else? Everything have an opposite, right? So life was never meant to be fair or easy. This ain't that. You're gonna have some challenges, baby. So when it comes to your thought life, those 60,000 thoughts, they can either act as ravens picking off your mental flesh, or you can get some order like Noah had in that boat and have them things be peaceful in your mind. And that starts with you. Simple practice, won't cost you much but activity. Reach on up there and pull that out, that negative thought that you no longer want. Flame it up in your imagination eye, your third eye, if you want to use that, however you want to call it, in your spirit. Set it on fire, fire, fire. and burn it. And while you are burning it, what are you thinking? I am releasing you and letting you go. You no longer believe me. I no longer believe you. We are not a communion. I break that union. Burn it. And then hold it when it's at its highest flame, beautiful, beautiful, glowing. Write what you want to hear. My favorite mantra. I am whole, perfect, strong, powerful, loving, harmonious, wealthy, and happy. Man, I say it like it's my name. I would say it more like my name. Put it to use. Deal with your thought life. Other tips that I've given. Sit down with a pen and paper, not a computer or a phone, because it is a different system of action. I kid you not. Hear me. Pen, paper. Write it down. If it is grieving you enough to be present and distort your view of life or slow you down in it, then it is worth taking the time, sitting yourself down with that pen and paper to honest to God, write it out. And there's some of my clients that I do challenge once they've written it out, baby, this is the last time you talking about it. This is the last time you about to sit up here and solve this story out to anybody, because today it changes. And you can have that. You can honest to God have that. You can have freedom from past skeletons and freedom from past pains and rejections and opinions. I am holding my tongue today. There are so many opinions. And if you were a person who put opinions off on somebody else, ain't no shame and ain't no guilt, and I offer you any of that. What I am going to offer you is an opportunity to go back to those places where you spoke illness and ill words. Parents, I'm talking to y'all specifically, to your seeds. And said things that would damage their spirit and their heart, even in jest. Sometimes we funny. Perfect example. I used to make a really bad joke because I have a wide sense of humor, so I can laugh at a lot of things. I want you to know that one of my sons in his adulthood came to me and told me that he was afraid of a particular type of person because of a joke I made when he was a kid. And I apologized and explained myself. And yes, sometimes parents probably, we didn't gotta explain ourselves. What can you do? What can you do? So go back and clean up your mess. Go back and speak a better thing. Go let whoever, whether it's parent to child or in relationship at work, because sometimes some of y'all can't stand y'all bosses. And I understand, because I used to have some bosses that made me pray often and near always. But where are you speaking and what are you speaking? It's important. The imagination is just your breeding ground. You're creating. Every time you open your mouth, you're creating. And that has to be understood. I thought I saw a question and I might have missed it. Is it possible to revive a gift you thought died? Is it possible to revive a gift you thought died? If you're still breathing and able to answer the question, I'm going to say yes. I'm going to say yeah. It's possible to revive a gift you thought had died. It is a matter of healing. That's how you revive a gift. First is attention. It's very, very simple in that, right? We understand how to give attention, and I do my best to always give you guys a simple access answer. By sitting to give it attention, everything is in spirit, right? So you're turning your attention spiritually inward to that specific gift that you feel needs to be revived. And it may not be that the gift so much needs to be revived. I don't think the gift is it's you. You know what I mean? It is the person, it's us that must be attuned, right? And the gifts will go quiet and they will go off and seek somewhere else, some other place of expression. But there are some things that you were literally born in this life to do, and there's some things that you carry that cannot be passed on to another person to do. And if you do not do that, then you have let it die. Okay, you have let it die, and it's absent from the earth, like animals that have gone extinct. And if you think I'm playing, sit in meditation and ask the spirit for yourself and get an answer. So it is that you sit in spirit, you give attention to that gift that needs to be revived, and you need to apologize. Apologize, make amends. And this, how do we say this? I'm an advanced practitioner for Ho'oponopono. So you are clearing in the spirit, and you are refreshing your agreement. Like you are bound to what you said you would do. Like we talked about promises earlier. When you're making promises to yourself, I'm going to do this, I'm going to do this, and then time and time and time goes, and you haven't done it. You're still responsible. You're responsible to yourself. You've given your word. The stronger the oaths and the commitments, even stronger, even stronger. Okay, so sit with that gift that needs to be revived. Give it the attention that it requires. Apologize, and everything in love. Everything in love. Everything thrives in love, grows in love, heals in love. That is why I'm so here to love you back to life. Like, that's how people get back to life. That's how gifts get back to life. Love it back to life, and don't play with it. Like, consider a man-woman relationship, woman-woman, man-man, however you get down. Playing with people is not a good thing, right? I'm not gonna sit up here and, ooh, I like you, and then go, nah. Gifts don't play that way. Neither does money. Doesn't play that way, right? So then if you are serious and that is your intention and you care to revive this gift and put it to use, action, action, action. Because what's the point of sitting there, giving it the attention, stroking on it, pouring in love, and then put it back over there? That's trifling. Don't be trifling with it. And again, there's no seat of judgment or damnation attached. You are your seat of judgment. You are your seat of salvation and damnation. Okay? It's going to be as you say, as you believe, because God already told us what you believe in your heart. That's what it is. How you think it is. That's what it is. What you speak it is. That's what it is. So we have been equipped triangularly. I ain't gonna get into geometry right now, but we have been equipped in our full being for life and godliness. That's a clue if you're listening. That's a hard clue. I want to make sure I'm not going over time and being respectful here. So hopefully I answered your question. I did that 7 years writer's block. What's 7 years writer's block? I'm all being nosy in the chat. I'm so curious. I want to know about that. And hopefully I didn't miss any other questions. You would love an understanding of shadow work. Let me give you something really quick for that before we get out of here. That's a big one. I'm gonna have to just do a whole show on that one. I will start from the position of poles. Like we have light, we have darkness. Actually, let's tell the truth. We had darkness first, and then we had light. Okay, so you understand that the light helps to produce the shadow. I think a lot of people miss the first point. The first point is oneness. They are not opposite things. Like now we're moving into metaphysical thought. You gotta think a little bit higher with me. There's a oneness. Okay. So then I will cause you to understand that moment of unity, and then what's possible. Okay, what is possible with light and enlightenment? What is possible with darkness, peace, and then its extremities that exist on the lower energy planes? Oh, we're gonna have some good conversations, y'all. There's so much to talk, because like even answering that question, it's like 13 things that pop up, and they each bode a conversation. So I will offer you those conversations to come. And in the meantime, we're about to get out of here. I do want to say that on the, let me see what day this is. We're gonna have some company. I'm excited to have some company. I'm gonna have Scott Father Time Harrell, who is the owner of Harrell Consulting Group, and he does a lot of other stuff too. We're gonna have him in for half an hour of our time together for a conversation, because I'll do some awesome interviews. I know a lot of great people, so I'd like to introduce you to a lot of great people that I know. I'm expecting Scott. I'm expecting Sunshine. I'm expecting Tiffany Countryman, and we're going to have some great conversations. I've got Tiffany already scheduled, and everyone else, I'm gonna need y'all to let me know, because I would love to have you on here for great conversations. Yes, there will be a topic, and I will offer you the time to mention what you do in work, but I want to pick in your mind set, because I believe in mind set, because when you have framework and a settled mind, man, you lethal. So we're going to do a lot of mindset work, and light tooling that you guys can use. If you'd like to hire me, I'd love to work with you. Give me a phone call. Better. Text 321 443 2495. Text SXP to 321 443 2495. You know you need Intuit coaching. You know you need some strategies. You know you need to be loved back to life. Don't sit there and die. Don't do that. Don't do that. Need some books that will help your mindset. Touch base with me. Like, this is your opportunity to live. Tiffany Countryman, May 14th, y'all, May 14th. And she'll be joining us at about the 8:30 mark after we have our commercials. Brilliant brain. So, that having been said, I have enjoyed our time together. It's been about a whole hour. Don't feel like it. So, maybe we need to go a little bit longer, Beep. We'll see. Not today, though. Today, I think we've gotten the point across. Yeah. I love you, and I hope you feel loved and heard, seen, known. Like that. Ain't nothing like it. You know what I mean? Okay. Come get this love. Malika K. Courtney, I appreciate you. Thank you for your time and attention. Again, thank you, Blast Radio, for hosting me and offering, putting the fire behind my butt to say yes, because I was dodging, I was running, because I didn't want to sit still and do a podcast, but clearly it was time. I appreciate you. Thank you, Troy Veep, for handling everything else. Y'all, I'm out.